Jim Halpert and Dwight Schrute have been working at Dunder Mifflin for 7 years. Over the years, Jim and Dwight have developed a very competitive relationship and are always trying to outsell each other.
Recently, their boss, Michael, decided to award the employee who sold the most paper Employee of the Month. Jim and Dwight are in the top spots to see who can sell the most paper and become Employee of the Month.
Dunder Mifflin sells their paper for $16 a ream, while it only costs them $6 to produce each ream. If Jim sells 200 reams of paper and Dwight only sells 180 reams, how much profit did Jim win by?
A profit is the money a business makes after it pays its production costs, or, in simpler terms, the amount an item is sold for minus the amount it costs the business to make that item. So, in order to find Jim and Dwight's profits, you would first need to find the total amount of money each made for the company. To do this, you would multiply the number of reams they sold times the amount charged per ream.
In this case, for Jim, we know that he sells 200 reams of paper. We also know that each ream is sold for $16. First, we will find the revenue Jim makes from selling his 200 reams of paper. Revenue is how much money the company makes from selling the paper. To find revenue, we will multiply the number of reams Jim sold by the amount of one ream is sold for. In this case, Jim sells 200 reams of paper for $16 a ream. This gives us a revenue of $3,200.
Part of this money, however, goes back to Dunder Mifflin to pay for the expenses it took to make the paper. It costs Dunder Mifflin $6 to make one ream of paper.
Yes.
To find how much it costs the company to make all of the reams of paper, we will multiply the number of reams Jim sold by the amount of money it costs to make one ream. So, in this case, that is 200 reams of paper times $6 per ream, giving us a production cost of $1,200. As we learned, profit is the money a business makes after it pays its production cost. To find the profit Jim earned after selling the paper, we will apply the equation for profit in which we subtract the amount of money it took to make a product from the amount of money earned from selling the product. So, for Jim's profit, we would take the $1,200 production cost and subtract that from the $3,200 revenue he earned the company, giving him a profit of $2,000.
Dwight, on the other hand, sold 180 reams of paper. Once again, each ream is sold for $16. First, we need to find the revenue Dwight makes from selling 180 reams of paper. Revenue is how much money the company makes from Dwight selling the paper. To find revenue, we will multiply the number of reams Dwight sold by the amount one ream is sold for. So in this case, that is 180 reams sold times the $16 the company made from each ream. This gives Dwight a revenue of $2,880.
Part of this money, however, goes back to Dunder Mifflin to pay for the expenses it took to make the paper. It cost Dunder Mifflin $6 to make one ream of paper. To find how much it cost the company to make all of the reams of paper, we will multiply the number of reams Dwight sold by the amount of money it costs to make one ream. So for this case, it would be the 180 reams sold times the $6 it costs for them to produce that paper, costing Dunder Mifflin $1,080 to make 180 reams of paper. Once again, profit is the money a business makes after it pays its production cost. To find the profit Dwight earned after selling the paper, we will apply the equation for profit in which we subtract the amount of money it took to make a product from the amount of money earned from selling the product. So we would subtract the $1,080 it took the company to produce the paper from the $2,880 revenue Dwight earned the company, giving him a profit of $1,800 profit.
We now need to compare Dwight and Jim's profits in order to determine how much more money Jim made than Dwight. To do so, we will subtract the two profits to find the difference, or how much more money Jim made. So we would subtract the $1,800 profit Dwight made from the $2,000 profit Jim made to find that Jim earned $200 more in profit than Dwight.
Next, in order to master our profit and selling price skills, we are going to look at another problem. Tim bought a box of chocolates for $650 and sold it to Tom at a profit of $75. Find the selling price. So, in this problem, we know that Tim bought the chocolates from the store for $650 and that Tim made a profit of $75 from selling it to Tom. We know that the selling price is the price an item costs to produce or buy initially, plus the amount of money the company or seller earns in profit from the sale. In this case, it would be the $650 Tim bought the box of chocolates for, plus the $75 profit he made after reselling the box of chocolates to Tom, giving us a $725 selling price for the box of chocolates. Thanks for listening and learning along with us about profit and selling price.